Indeed, Jalaluddin Rumi doesn't explicitly mention the unity of religions. Instead, he, as we discussed before, criticized religions other than Islam. However, it is important to remember that his criticism is based on the point of view of himself, who was a Muslim on the one hand. Nevertheless, on the other hand, he also echoes a kind of esoteric unity of religions, or inner unity of religions. The first indication is Rumi's view of the distinction between form and meaning. In Rumi's eye, form is a shell, and we must look for Paul within it. Rumi also wants us to exceed all diverse forms, and then we will be able to reach the meaning. Quote, because forms are oil and the meaning is light, don't you ask why anymore? If the form is for the sake of the form itself, then ask why. It is unacceptable if the heaven and all that is in it are mere forms. Go beyond form, leave names and all designs, find meaning. In the perspective of Sufism, the unity of meaning means the unity of divinity, because the meaning in Sufism is hakiko, the reality which underlies all diverse and changing forms. For Rumi, forms and identities are indeed different, but essentially they are all one, as the form of oil or the form of lamps vary, but light is one. Rumi said, in respect of the vessel there is a number, but in respect of the flames of light there is naught but unity. When the light of 6 lamps is mingled together, there is number and plurality in their light. A Jew becomes a polytheist in terms of place. The second indication is that Rumi maintains that there are many paths to God, with the result that any path taken will lead to God. Only God is the end of all travelers. Quote, many different roads have become easy to follow. Everyone's religion has become to him as dear as life. Rumi also states, by the eye of the heart, see those who are believers and those who are infidels. They have nothing but crying and cry out, O God, O living one, according to their own beliefs. On the exoteric level, Rumi proclaims that every prophet and messenger brought their own sharia, so that each outward rite and doctrine look different from one another. But on the esoteric level, all of those teachings maintain the same thing, nothing but bringing anyone to arrive in the same end. Rumi says, in the salutations and benediction addressed to the righteous, praise of all the prophets is blended. The praises are all commingled and united. The jugs are poured into the one basin, inasmuch as the object of praise himself is not more than one. From this point of view, all religions are but one religion. Know that every praise goes to the light of God and is only lent to created forms and persons. In addition, Rumi also asserts that all human beings are one essence in reality. Here, Rumi never teaches us hostility, especially in the name of religion. It is true that the only difference is our physical forms, namely our culture and language, but for Rumi, quote unquote, in this word there are many words and languages, but all of them have one and the same meaning. In Rumi's view, differences in race, language, culture are not fundamental and shouldn't be the cause of conflict and enmity, because the essence of humanity is one. As Rumi establishes, our intellect and our mind are one. All human beings possess the same spirit, but the body and flesh number in the thousands. The unity of the essence of humanity necessitates the unity of the essence of the inner faith, because ontologically everything comes from the same source. Therefore, the diversity of religions in Rumi's eye is the difference in forms and rites, not in the realm of the true nature of faith. The pole of faith in the inward is one and the same, namely to long worship and love the beloved. Once Rumi was wandering his city while carrying a lantern and said, I'm fed up with beasts and other animals, all I want is a human. It seems that Rumi was fed up with humans who turned out to have acted like animals. Rumi was looking for a true human, who in this context can be understood to be the perfect man. That is the one who is no longer trapped in the diversity of forms and fights because of his own ignorance. Our humanity is under the light of divinity, so no one can escape from him. Rumi says, both faith and unbelief are seeking thee and shouting thy undivided unity. Therefore, the difference is only visible to the human eye, but to the divine eye, quote unquote, there is nothing that doesn't proclaim his praise. Rumi also asserts that love for God is a latent part that underlies all entities in the world. In his own words, love for God is latent in all people, Magians, Jews or Christians, and in all things that have being. Love in this sense refers to the only goal of worship of all religions, Due to love attached to every prayer that is sung, all humans actually direct their worship to the same goal, the beloved. It is undeniable that Rumi himself expressly teaches and constantly asks us to take the path of love. The path of love is Rumi's path. We can say that Rumi himself in his life embraced the religion of love. Quote, I have cleansed my house of good and evil. My house is built only with love for the one. In this respect, belief and worship based on love no longer recognize differentiation. Rumi himself asserts that this kind of human becomes a human of God. The man of God is he who has transcended this belief and belief. The man of God is he who sees right and wrong to be the same. The expression means to emphasize that when one has tasted the divine secret, he comes to the state in which he sees all things through the eye of the one. The many, full of differences, only appear as the one itself, so that the differences are crossed by the one. It is significant to note that the religion of love is not a new religion, but is the heart of all religions, pulsating in the depth of every esoteric teaching. The religion of love has definitely transcended various forms, for it is the source and destination, while forms are just pipes. For Rumi, a lover no longer cares about the form of religion. He states, know carefully that a lover of God will not become a Muslim. It is important to note that the word Muslim is meant by Rumi in terms of formal identity, which is empty of meaning. So Rumi negates such a formal identity, because for Rumi the path of love is a religious attitude and perspective that has transcended all forms. Again, it is important to note that Rumi in no way suggests leaving the Sharia. This, as far as I know, never happened to all Sufis. They still adhered to the practice of Islamic law, but they didn't make the Sharia their deity. That, in my opinion, is what is meant by going beyond forms. That's why Rumi beautifully sings, what can I do, Muslims? I don't know myself. I am neither Christian nor Jew, neither Magian nor Muslim. I am not from east or west, not from land or sea, not from the shafts of nature, nor from the spheres of the firmament, not of the earth, not of water, not of air, not of fire. I am not from the highest heaven, not from this world, not from existence, not from being. I am not from India, not from China, not from Balkan, not from Saksin, not from the realm of the two Iraqs, not from the land of Khorasan. I am not from the world, not from beyond, not from heaven, not from hell. I am not from Adam, not from Eve, not from paradise, not from Ridwan. My place is placeless, my trace is traceless. No body, no soul, I am from the soul of souls. I have chased out duality, lived the two worlds as one. One I seek, one I know, one I see, one I call. He is the first, he is the last, he is the outward, he is the inward. Beyond he and he is I know no other. Furthermore, we can interpret that Rumi's religion of love asserts that a Muslim should be a lover, and consequently he embraces the religion of love. Thus one can find the essential unity of anything that is worshipped and adored and praised by all people in spite of their different forms and languages. A Muslim who has become a lover no longer argues about differences in form. Hence, Rumi confirms the religion of love is different from all other religions. The religion or creed of the lovers is God. The statement, in my opinion, is meant to show the transcendence of former religions, or an affirmation of meaning that transcends form. I have to emphasize that assuredly Rumi in this point doesn't deny the teaching brought by the Prophet Muhammad at all. In fact, Rumi confirms it, since for Rumi himself, Islam is the path of love. In his own words, the path of the Prophet is the path of love. We are born of love and love is our mother. This means that Islam absolutely gives no room for hatred of anything. I want to interpret anyone who doesn't have love means he is not following the path taught by the Prophet Muhammad. It means if we relate to the main theme of our discussion, the teaching that Muhammad brought is the religion of love, namely that every Muslim should also be able to transcend different forms and no longer have conflicts about them. When someone has embraced the religion of love, he, whoever he is, must sing the same song, namely the song of love. This religion of love inevitably seems to be the only religion adhered to by all mystics in any religion, and the religion of love becomes a commonly universal religion in which only the name of the beloved is mentioned and called. And whether in the churches, in the mosque, in synagogues, in temples, in markets, in forests, in modern malls, wherever, the eyes only gaze upon the beloved in the sense either personal or impersonal. Now we can understand what Rumi means in the following verse. I tried to find God on the Christian cross, but he was not there. I went to Muslims' Kaaba in Mecca, but God was not there either. I went to the old Jewish synagogue and the Hindu temple of idols, but I couldn't find a trace of God anywhere. I questioned the scholars and philosophers, but God was way beyond their understanding. I then looked deep into my heart, and it was there where He dwelt that I saw Him. God was nowhere else to be found. The Sufis and mystics in general walk on the path of love, which is nothing but walking within themselves. Rumi in particular didn't find God in form, neither in the Kaaba, in church, in synagogue, and in other places of worship. He found it to be the formless. This confirms that the religion of love is a path of worship that no longer sees different forms, teaching to look within or inward. Therefore, to love God is no longer bound by forms. In other words, love cannot be limited by differences in religious forms. In this regard, Rumi emphasizes, in every religion there is love, yet love has no religion. Finally, we can comprehend the inner message conveyed by Rumi, that although on the exoteric level or the outward face the religions are diverse, on the inner level, esoteric plane or spiritual dimension, all religions pulse by the same heart, namely the heart of love. The essence of the worshipped is one, although the expressions of beliefs and doctrines are many and diverse. In the human perspective, fixed on outward forms, religions are different and varied, but in the transcendent perspective, all the different shells contain the same pearl. Rumi maintains, in the realm of the unity of divinity, there is no room for numbers. Forms and numbers exist only in a word that knows number 5 and 4. The religion of love becomes a point that can bring all people, regardless of their religions and nationalities, in the warmth of human friendship. It is very clear that love unites, whereas hatred divides and separates. It is because of the religion of love that Rumi was highly respected by followers of other religions of his time. When Rumi died, not only Muslims but also Christians and Jews mourned. One of the religious leaders amongst them said loudly, "Rumi is the king of religions. He is our leader and master. Through him we learned about Christ, Moses, and the other prophets." Such a statement wouldn't certainly come out of the mouth of someone whose heart was not touched by the love brought by Rumi. With Rumi's eyes, we see the heavens to be the great universal dome, which all of us, Christians, Jews, Christians or Muslims and others, circumambulate. Under the universal dome, since there are many diverse religions and people, particular places of worship have emerged, such as church, synagogue, mosque, temple, and so forth. Nevertheless, under the universal dome, all those places of worship are moths that fly together to the universal heavens where, in their journey, quote-unquote, there is nothing that doesn't proclaim his praise. Rumi's religion of love invites anyone, without any favoritism of particular religion. Hence, Rumi never discriminates. All of us are being called by Rumi to come to the presence of the all-encompassing love. Let Rumi's own words state this. Come, whoever you are. Come without fear and hate. Come here, whoever you are. Muslims, Magians, Christians, Jews. It doesn't matter whether you are a believer or an infidel. The door of my house is not the door of fear. This is the door full of hope. See you next time.